this guy. Mic check 1 2. 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 Hold on, let's go ahead and kill this right here. So that means we're coming in through into 3. Can you hear me in your headphones? It should be boosting the signal. Can you hear me? May I?
It's too much.
Okay, I just want to check right now. So,
Great.
okay. Mic check 1 2. Yes. Okay. So this is good. Mic check. Okay, hold on. Ooh, it's pretty loud. I don't like how that sounds. Yeah. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check. No, I don't need fan to turn that off. That's why. Okay, so let's see if we can control our.
Been a while. I know. Hello. Great seeing you.
Hello.
Oh, this is like really going. How are you?
Mic check 1 2.
Well, you've been doing that. What are you doing?
Check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
How does it sound? So if I speak loud, look, so there's a limiter on. Did you put it? So, sorry guys, I'm gonna get loud real quick. Sorry. No. This has nothing to do with this because we're not plugged into that. See, it caps out right there.
That should be fun, right? I mean, also we have Ben on the Sennheiser. So that's clean.
Yeah, I was gone for like a year. Nice.
Mic check 1 2.
I thought it. And it's been wildly successful.
Cool. Very cool.
Do you mind going
So
up there?
it kind of just allowed me to move back.
Yes.
Okay, you know, it's a huge
Hold on, give me a sec.
Yeah, I bet. What is the next big thing for Flip Slip?
Should be live. Yes, we are live. Okay. Fantastic. Giving audio. Why is it distorting? Okay. Let's see. You're off right now. I need you to walk around with this. And go ahead and just speaking.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6. Rackspace. We're here at Rackspace. PR Hacker. Viral marketing. It's going down. Isn't it going down? It's going down. PR Hacker. Mic check 1 2. Want to turn this one off? Mic check number 3. Mic check number 3. Are we live? We're live. Oh. Making moves. Turn it off.
So now, live.
Lavalier, check 1 2. Testing 1 2 3. I'm a little bit far from the center, but you never know what's gonna happen. I'm right here. I'm over here now. Testing 1 2 3. Can you hear me?
me see that. Can you go outside actually, so you don't hear the audio from here? I want. Just go where I can see you. I'll be talking to you. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me.
I like where you're going with it.
Yeah. So I mean, the story is a bit more than just.
Mic check 1 2. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Maybe go right there. Can you hear me? Can you hear me at all? You can? You can hear me in your headphones? Yeah? You can hear me in your headphones? Well, of course it's going to be delayed. It's going through the cloud and internet and everything like that. You can hear me? All right. Go ahead. Go ahead, Hubert. How are we, Hubert? It's good? Sweet. All right, hold on. Can you hear me okay? We good? How's it sound? Does it sound all right? Or does it sound distorted? Distorted? Distortion, yes or no? Okay, cool. Good. Good. One more time.
I needed a refresher.
It's not distorted? All right, can you listen one more time, Lisa? Can you hear this mic?
It gets me thinking and I get it.
Can you hear me all right? Yeah, we okay? Yeah? No? You can't hear me? No? Can't hear me?
Yeah, but we
Can you? Yes or no? Mic check 1 2 1 2. Sorry? In West Philadelphia, born and raised. You can hear me? Yes or no?
really weird.
I'm getting signal to here. Can you hear me?
It was always something that, or at least I kept myself
That one, it's a little distorted. We can put down the sensitivity a little bit more.
Well, you know what? This one is for reference for us.
Yeah.
This is not going to the house.
I know. Yeah.
So this is just.
I want to get it clean for audio for sure.
Standing still isn't so bad either.
Thank you, man.
I always just thought
You're
that
good?
you
Good.
get to this mentality of everything has to be right now, go. And it's not always opportunities presented themselves different now.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
And I will probably sit towards that.
So that's that.
we were going to do that. It would have been really useful.
Well, let me show you now what it is, and you can decide if you want to do something. It's basically 7 rules for viral marketing. It's organized around 7 simple rules. One is build strategic context around your brand, which is basically strategic context is all this. I use this example where there's people making out in a riot. What makes this interesting is the riot, not the people making out. Then I go through and I talk about a campaign where we did what dog breed for a hot date should you have. The next one is localize your brand at massive scale. So this is the food truck, where basically we do a local story in every city, and we scale it out across the U.S. and get media coverage. And then I say, hey, and if you don't have a food truck, there's a little video when the Karen Kardashian did. Number 3, piggyback your brand on timely news. So the idea is that we did this campaign for Del Monte that was, what states love green bean casserole the most? 50 weeks out of the year that will get no coverage, but 2 weeks before Thanksgiving it will. So then I go through that. 4th is build buzz with a brand content rollout. So this is Gangnam Style. That's just how Gangnam Style goes viral, and I just talk people through it. That's all it is. 5, share brand stories that activate emotions. So this is all Morris the cat. It basically just leads in how we activate awe, and awe is the sense of wonder around the world and how it got more shareable results. 6 is target brand influencers with niche audiences. So I do Tara the Hero Cat, how that went viral, and I go right into Doggy Date Night, talking about how we got 77 million impressions. And then the final one is test and optimize brand messaging. So it's how can we make this more viral? And I have people vote, and then option B, and I just take them through the examples of why they're more viral, and then we get to lightning pitches.
Okay.
So I don't know what you think. They're like, it's structured very.
How long do you take on each one of these points?
I'm gonna go pretty fast. I got an hour, so no more than.
So like
Yeah,
5.
five, something like that.
Okay.
So I don't know, but if you feel like you don't want to, I mean,
No,
it's okay.
It's totally fine. I just didn't realize that was happening. So, can I just do one image per
Yeah,
point?
yeah, maybe. I just want to show just kind of how you do things, so in the future we can say, hey, we can help you brainstorm, and that's all. So I don't even have to think it has to be comprehensive. It's just like maybe the concept or something like
Okay.
that.
And what's the overall topic? Like, what can I do a title? So
Yes, you can just do
The 7.
7 rules of viral marketing. That's it. Okay, cool. And then we'll just have you like up here from the beginning. Okay. Oh, hey, how are you?
How are you?
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. How's everything going?
Everything is going well. We've just been kind of growing lots of new faces around PR Hacker, everyone in yellow shirts. So
That's awesome.
So it's been good.
Yeah.
We need to catch up and have dinner.
I know. Yeah. I'd love to.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited to listen to you tonight. But
Okay.
I'd love to do that too.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Oh, hey, Esther.
Say hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. How is? Yes, I like it. You're wearing them.
Isn't this? See, look, way better design now.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we're killing it.
Oh, awesome. We have to catch up.
Yeah, I caught up with Cody, so I told him some of the good stuff, but I'm here to learn some more and so get it to the next level. But I did tell him what I'm doing because, I remember like with your sessions, I was always trying to take it in and like, how do I apply this? So it took a little while, but
Okay.
Yeah.
We can talk more after. I gotta find the camera person, but we'll talk more. Oh, hey, what's up?
Tonight it is.
Hey, he wrote in Vince. I just wanted to try the connecting the computer. Do you want to? Oh yeah, I was like, yeah, let's connect the computer. Just double check.
You said you need Wi-Fi?
I don't need Wi-Fi, but we should check if the sound comes from this one video. I just did the one canine carrots. That's all I had time for. So, do a little salsa. And let me get my.
Do we need to connect you to the internet for something?
I don't think so. Just the video can play. It's just sound, I guess, right? So.
I just want to make sure your aspect ratio is fine.
Okay.
Audio's good. Okay.
Do you want to actually try to play the video? Let's just try to play it from here.
Just the audio.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay.
So, okay, actually, can you go back to that?
See what?
Just expand that real quick. What I want to do is check to see if your aspect ratio is fine. Okay, so you're good to go, and like I said,
Oh, so so if I plug that in, we're good.
You'll be good. You'll just want to start from the beginning. And also, I want to check the mic.
Okay.
Is it in your pocket right now?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just
Oh,
double check.
back.
Can you do a test? Hello?
Test it. Hello. 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 What?
I can see the levels now.
Oh, you can see it. Okay, cool. I think we're good. Okay. Are you doing the Periscope too, or are we just doing this? I don't
you
know.
want us to? We discussed it. I don't.
Nah, we don't have to. Nah, we're okay. I just do whatever's simplest at this point. So it's nice seeing all the harmless heart. I'm gonna get a water.
So the other word you need.
Yes, you know, yes.
And then really quick, just as far as framing,
Yeah.
this is what it looks like. So that will be pretty much the end, that table, where
Okay.
the computer is, and then over here
I can go all the way over to the edge of that.
to the edge of that, and possibly we could get people that want to speak and do brainstorms to just stand right there.
You think I'll stand on the left side? I'll come up and stand there.
Yeah, like in front of Build the Future or something like that.
Okay. Okay, got it.
We can even take it down.
Oh, hey. Doug, what's up? How are you?
And you
Good to
remember
see-
Benji?
Yeah, hey. How are you? Thanks for coming. I like it. I like some snacks there. That's good.
We brought some stuff from our thing. If you
Oh, yeah. Oh, amazing. You ready to? Okay, let's brainstorm. Awesome.
So we're excited.
Okay, cool. Clarice is going to draw through the whole time. So where should we put her thing? Yeah, do you want to put her over here, or? And you should tell her how you want Clarice. She can just kind of stand normally, but because we weren't going to do the drawing, but we're going to do it now for the whole thing.
Okay.
So let's see.
So last thing.
Yeah.
So this mic right here, this is a reference for us to edit. Okay. But you need to actually speak into this mic right here. Okay. So this is live. Mic check. Mic check 1 2.
Okay, we're good. Yeah.
To mute it, go ahead and hit mute one time. It'll turn amber orange. So that's how you know you're muted.
Okay.
Hit it one more time and then you're live. Okay. So I'll have this right here if we want to pass it around for questions. Our idea is we want to try to bring people over here.
Yeah,
Maybe I can put a marker. Should I do that? So they can come up. Speak.
Sure.
You-
You can. That's just I'll invite her. Come to me. Yeah, sounds good. Oh, hi. How are you?
Really looking forward to your lecture.
Oh, okay, thank you.
But I have to catch 7:55 bus.
Bus, okay.
So I have a blog like this. So is it okay to write about?
Yeah. That'd be okay. That's nice. Thank you. And we'll have a video afterwards. If you miss some stuff at the end, you can get the video.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, do you think that's all right?
Yeah, we just want to make sure that they don't block Claris, but so we can see it as they film. But
Do you think this is okay as a marker for you? Am I blocking her, Hubert? No? Is that all right?
okay, give it like 2 minutes and then we'll start.
I got more sleep.
It's amazing how you can switch your human body.
This is true.
How we can get our body to do things that seem impossible. One thing I did remember is your timer off, like your sleeper. You should check that.
I have this little thing that pops up. I have it. It's like this reminder that there's an error on this thing pops up. But if I do this, that should shut off the timer. I think that coffee thing. But here I can double check.
Because I know with mine it shuts
Where
off.
is it? It's
energy saving. So just to be on the safe side.
Oh wait, I should plug in maybe, right?
Sorry.
I should plug in.
Yeah. You need I have my.
Yeah, I have one of my bag. Open that gray bag. Second pocket, the big pocket.
I think that's everything.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, it's on, yeah. And do you have any kind of time thing, or if I go long, someone should tell me at I'm gonna start now, but if I go more than, when it gets to 45 minutes, someone should just signal, just because I got 15 minutes, I gotta start wrapping up.
Can you say mic check 1 2?
Mic check 1 2. Mic check. Mic check 1 2. Okay. You ready? Are you ready? The most important person.
I'm trying to
And
you're the most
no, and definitely the best, most artistic person here. Okay, let's do it. Not at the beginning.
Oh, wait, you're going to do it at the beginning, right?
Yeah, I have a slide bit. Okay. Okay, cool. You're good. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I like it. Thank you. My name is Ben Kaplan, and I am a PR hacker.
You are the guy.
I am. If loving viral marketing is wrong, I don't want to be right. And so my question for you, and the millions of people watching at home, or actually at least 100 people on the live stream, is this. Are you ready? Are you ready
to learn how to get thousands of media outlets to talk about your brand? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Are you ready to get thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people sharing about your brand? Yes or no? Okay. Are you ready for experiential events that create word of mouth buzz? Are you ready for videos that not only have the potential to be viral, but that engage people, that get people want to feel an emotional connection with your brand? If you're ready for these things, say, "Aw, yeah."
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. We're in the right place. So whenever I come to one of these kind of presentations, the thing I always try to think about at the beginning is, what is the perspective of the presenter? Just because, I'm very patient with people when they give me advice, but I'm also critical a little bit. I want to sort of take that advice with a grain of salt. I want to know, where are they coming from? Why do they think the way they do? So to give you a little perspective on that, here's why all of us at PR Hacker, all the people in the yellow shirts, why we think the way we do. And it all starts from our perspective. So a few things. Some people call us the BuzzFeed of PR firms. Others call us a PR firm that plays Moneyball. But it kind of all goes back, the generation of our company and how we think about viral marketing, to something that happened when I was 17 years old. So when I was 17 years old, I thought I was going to be a competitive tennis player. And I was so I got up every day at 5 a.m., I trained all day, played after school at night. And what happened was I got a stress fracture in my back. And all of a sudden, I needed a different way to pay for school. And so I wasn't going to get a tennis scholarship. I thought that was going to be the answer. And so I started hustling around, and a lot of good fortune, help from my parents too. My dad is there, distinguished looking gentleman over there. So a lot of help from dad. And so I started winning all of these scholarships. And so my backstory was, I won 24 scholarships worth $90,000, and I was the kid who had my 15 minutes of fame for going to Harvard for free. So I had done all this, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to kind of do with my life. I felt like, gosh, I learned some important things through this. And so I thought, okay, I'll write a book. So literally, I graduated college, I moved home, I moved into my parents' house, and I started finishing this book. And I had started during college, so I finished it up about 3 months after graduating, and scraped up enough money to print 5,000 copies. So they were all delivered to my parents' garage, and so my parents had to park outside, and there was 3 pallets of books in the garage. And then I realized we had 0 book distribution. No bookstore, I didn't think about this part, it was not important at the time. No bookstore carried the book. It wasn't anywhere, it was only in my parents' garage, right? So how do I, just being a person with help from good parents, get this book all over the place, let my parents park inside again, and maybe have something that I'm really proud of? And so it all kind of started with the first time we sort of went with an experiential event where we got a bus, we put a picture of the book on the side, and we went across the country trying to convince people to just come out to a workshop, come out to a talk like this, pick it up, and maybe if enough people did that, then we would move the books, and we'd have something that could maybe hit a bestsellers list. So I started doing that, and lo and behold, that helps you get on Oprah, and that helps, and it turns out you sell a lot of books. So the secret of going viral is to get on Oprah. We're done. No. So I got on Oprah, the book spread, and in that first year, we sold 65,000 copies of the book, even though we didn't have bookstore distribution. Within a couple of years, we had sold a couple 100,000. Publishers came calling. We ended up selling the book to HarperCollins, and now this book, it looks like this, How to Go to College Almost for Free. I do up here on the cover, so I hope that doesn't deter anyone from actually reading it. But there's about 1.5 million copies worldwide, and it's the best-selling scholarship book in the world. So that was my, thank you, but the point of the story was, because of that, this is where my perspective comes in. Because I was sort of the person that had a product, it was a physical thing, we had to move. Not everyone knew about it. I needed to have ways to have maximum leverage, right? I needed ways that a little bit of effort would have a lot of result. And that is what we're focused on today with viral marketing. How do the things you do, the action steps today, tomorrow, the next day, have a disproportionate result to what you invest in the process? Okay, so just in terms of, to sort of fill it out, my 15 years in PR and marketing, I started after the book. I became a guest expert on a lot of TV shows. I became a journalist, had a syndicated newspaper column based at the Oregonian called Scholars and Dollars. That transition was I was a spokesperson for a lot of major brands, Dr. Pepper, U.S. Bank, many others. And then I founded an agency. It's called PR Hacker, and we have lots of clients from big brands like Milk-Bone and Smuckers, Del Monte. One of our clients. Do you guys like Harmless Harvest coconut water? It's like really good, right? So they're one of our clients. We love them. If you like cheese, you should really have Finlandia cheese. Really great Swiss cheese, awesome butter. It's another one of our clients. And then we have a lot of tech companies, a lot of startups, a lot of clients from Y Combinator, 500 Startups, and Techstar. So that's kind of the perspective of what we do. But everything we're going to talk about today is how do we have disproportionate leverage? How do we have, it's not like you invest something in, you get something out. How do you invest something in and get a lot out? And we're going to talk about specifically those tactics today. And so I want to just introduce just really, really quickly. So if you have follow-up questions, we're going to hang out. Lots of PR hackers in attendance. So Claris, who is awesome there, she's amazing. Ask her to say something because her accent is unbelievably cool. It makes everything, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but it's cool. It's British. It's cool. She's amazing. She's actually a live illustrator and recorder. We do a lot of live brainstorms, a lot of strategy sessions. You'll see her kind of drawing stuff today. Cody Pittman is great. Cody is there. Cody's been with PR Hacker since our beginnings in Chile. Does a lot of data work, analysis, new business, is the maestro of A/B testing for us. Gary is there, is my father, brought me into the world, also an important sounding board. Hubert is a fantastic videographer, digital producer. You can ask Hubert about a project he worked on and raised over $3 million on a crowdfunding campaign, how his video helped do that, and now that product is sold in Brickstone stores everywhere. You can ask him about that. Liz is fantastic. Liz is in the back. We plucked Liz out of Russia. It was a really, really hard recruiting process. She is fantastic. It actually did all this PR work for top Russian startups. Kristen is back there. Kristen, raise your hand. Kristen is amazing. Kristen is like the best at really bugging me in a good way and keeping things running on time. So Kristen has that skill. Kyrie is over there. Kyrie is fantastic, really good with the media, and she helped put this event together. Mauricio is back there. Megna is awesome. Megna is actually a Harvard classmate of mine, joined as chief of staff. Amazing. And I want to say actually with Mauricio, the two of them have made such an impact on us overall, and they've been 2 weeks. It's been amazing. And then finally, Vincent is right there with headphones on. He's actually an audio engineer by night, a social media analyst by day. So ask them questions. That gives you some perspective. But what we want to do is leverage all those disciplines that they represent to have a viral campaign. And finally, I won't say any more about this other than the fact that we're tripling in size right now. So if you do want a job, please come talk to us. So let's get started. What we're going to do right now is, if you don't have, do people have one already?
You should have one of these.
Okay. We're going to set up the second part. We're going to go through 7 rules of viral marketing first, and we're going to set up the second part, which is all about having people come up here, pitch their company, and we're going to do a 5-minute live brainstorm and try to get a whole viral campaign in 5 minutes or less, and we're going to see how we're going to do. So if you have one of those forms, start filling them out now, and I think it's going to help us later on. And okay, and you'll come up and stand here a little bit later on. Okay. So, and then finally, because I know a lot of people, at least we had 100 people signed up online. Anyone here online, we're going to have to get through a lot of material. If you tweet a question to us, if you tweet at PR Hacking and you use hashtag GoViral, anyone here can do it too. We'll have a bunch of questions throughout the night. I'll ask Kyrie to sort of pick some questions from there. Okay? And Ask PR Hacker Works. Okay, good. So, 7 rules of viral marketing. Rule number one. Build strategic context around your brand. This is something those of you who've heard me speak before, I sometimes have used this as an example I talk about, but it has even more implications for viral marketing now than it ever did before. And it's gotten even more important in the last probably year than it ever has ever before. And the best way to explain this is that strategic context is what makes your brand worth talking about. Every time that you want something to go viral, you want it to be shared, it actually comes back to the core message. We can have a lot of techniques we're going to talk about, a lot of tactics to make things spread, but if your message is not worth sharing, then it's like driving around with a parking brake. Everything you do will be harder. So, how do you do that? How do you build strategic context? the question is, why is this news? Why is this news? Does anyone recognize this photo? Raise your hand. Okay, a few people. This is a couple making out. This is not remarkable in any way. There is a couple making out right now in San Francisco. But the question is, why was this photo one of the 3 most published photos in the world in 2011? And the answer is that you have to zoom out. So this is a couple making out during the 2011 Vancouver riots. What makes this interesting is not the fact that the couple's making out, it's all the stuff that's going around it. It's the strategic context that makes that suddenly newsworthy and important. So when you start this process of viral marketing, this is your product. This is your brand. You are a couple making out, okay? Because in the scheme of world events, in the scheme of everything we're talking about, this week we're talking about Prince, we're talking about other things, other big news, we're talking about the election. In the scheme of all of that, where we have to compete for mind share, we might not be that important. Probably not. But this is the strategic context. This is what makes us important. And this is something in any viral marketing campaign that we have the power to create. So let's give you an example. This is Kloof. It's an app for pet lovers that came to us when we got our start in Santiago, Chile. And think about it as almost like Instagram for pet lovers, right? Share photos of your pets doing cute things. Who has a dog here? Okay, do you share photos of your dog? Yes. Who has a cat here? Do you share photos of your cat? Okay, yes, good. So you can share it on Kloof, and they came to us and said, can you do a press release and help us get users? And we said, we could do a press release for you, but we don't think this will get you any users. Instead, we want to help create a viral campaign for you. So we asked this question. Our strategic context was dating and romance. We wanted a campaign topic that could be talked about around every water cooler at every office in the country. We wanted talk shows to be talked about. We wanted something that had such universal appeal, they would be embedded in that message. And so we came up with this. A question we asked in a survey, which was, which dog breed is most likely to score you a hot date? Okay, and so we conducted a survey of 2,000 people to determine what your dog's breed says about you to a potential date. And in case you were wondering, the quick answer is, guys, the best dog breed you could have is a Siberian Husky. You're seen as strong, protective, and responsible. If you have a pit bull, some girls think you're sketchy, slimy, and untrustworthy. Women, if you have a golden retriever, you're sweet, loving, and caring. But if you have a Chihuahua, unfortunately, you're hot but dumb and possibly high maintenance. Okay? So that was the result of the survey. When we created that strategic context, here's what happened. So this is the Today Show. It was on for 4 minutes. Kathy Lee and Hoda discussing this topic back and forth. Average 7 million viewers. This is Good Morning America and CBS This Morning. So the top 3 morning shows in the U.S., all averaging 6 to 7 million viewers, all covered it. Time Magazine ran the headline, What Your Dog Says About Your Sex Life. Huffington Post Green, Dogs That May Help You Snag a Date. And I should say, in all of these articles, this study was from Kloof, and they had to explain how Kloof did the methodology, and it highlighted a feature of the app, which is you could see people walking their dog around you and potentially go on a doggy walking date. This is in the UK, where Clarice is from. You own a Chihuahua, then you're dumb but hot. What your dog says about you to the opposite sex. The Globe and Mail in Canada. 21 countries, China, Japan, Russia, and more, all covered this story. And by the way, it wasn't an accident that we asked specifically about Chihuahuas. We knew that Paris Hilton could trend in Asia, and so we wanted that picture to run. And so that's kind of how we crafted the survey to get that viral result we wanted. Okay? So, the first step is have something worthwhile to say, but it's not just your product. It's not just your brand. It's how you position it in the strategic context around you. Okay? So, rule number 2 of viral marketing. Localize your brand at massive scale. How many people here have a startup? Work for a startup, have your own startup. Okay, a ton of people here. How many people here are more at a big brand, more of an established company? Okay, a few people, less so. More startups than big brands. Well, localizing your brand is something that kind of, like as a startup founder, if that's what you are, that's what everyone says, right? Okay, let's get traction in San Francisco first. Then we get traction in San Francisco, we go to Los Angeles, then we seed it out from there, right? Maybe some of your big brands have target markets where you try to focus on. But the question is always, how does that scale, right? It's a lot of effort to do that, how can we make it scale? And that's what rule number 2 talks about, is how you can do that. So here's a real-world example. So in the backstory of this, at PR Hacker, we're actually the PR agency for 18 different pet brands now. So like we're the main agency for Milkbone, Pepperoni, Natural Balance, Nature's Recipe, Canine Carryouts, Milo's Kitchen. There's a lot of them. And we kind of got famous for that dog campaign, and lots of brands came coming. So this is one of them, Milo's Kitchen. And the concept was, let's do something local that can actually get covered nationally and even globally, even when we're not in the city where the action is happening. So this is the first ever food truck for dogs, right? It's a concept that is super local, right? It's like, okay, food trucks, they're like, you know, oh, it's a big thing in San Francisco. But you know what? Food trucks are pretty much a big thing everywhere, right? So it's like, hey, local trend, but we go to Portland, certainly local trend. We go to Chicago, local trend. We go everywhere. So we picked a concept that is locally relevant, but basically is applicable anywhere. Now, how do we get that to scale, to get coverage throughout the US, maybe around the world? Is it possible even though we're local? So, concept was food truck for dogs, local national campaign. We sent the truck to 15 metro markets, and the goal was mass branding. Okay? Oh. Whoa. Let's see here. You got some preview of some really, really good stuff coming up. Here. Okay, here we go. So, we pitched local headlines in every city. So you can see these are variations. At PR Hacker, we might do 25 versions of a headline, A/B test them against each other to see what really works. So we have versions. San Francisco food trucks have gone to the dogs. Literally. Atlanta food trucks have gone to the dogs. Bon appetit. Hey gourmets. NYC food trucks have gone to the dogs. We do not like puns at all at PR Hacker, right? So these are local stories. We're trying to find, this is a kind of a fun story, right? This isn't like a story about like war breaking out in the Middle East. So we're trying to make it fun, show the media how to do it, okay? So this is NBC Nightly News. You can see the headline they used, Bon Appetit. It ran 2.5 minutes on NBC Nightly News. The average segment for them is 20 seconds. This was the equivalent of a multi-million-dollar ad buy that we created. And by the way, they're covering this truck going across the country as a national story. This is Fox and Friends. We actually brought the truck there. So Fox and Friends, morning show for Fox News Channel. So we pitched the local San Francisco story as if it was a global human interest piece. And this is part of how you can get scale. So seeding things in markets, but trying to create bigger stories that can spread. So here it is on Reuters. This is their international newswire. This is going all over the world. Food truck in San Francisco is going to the dogs. This is the Telegraph in the UK. It's like, look at those crazy people in San Francisco where dogs have their day. Right? And then we pitched the success of the campaign to business media to amplify it even further. So at PR Hacker, we have sort of a code name for every kind of pitch. This is called our Kim Kardashian pitch. What a Kim Kardashian pitch is a pitch where you're famous for being famous. Okay? So this is Inc. magazine, and so we're pitching the success of our campaign to get more media coverage for our campaign. Right? So this is, how's this for a marketing campaign? Inc. magazine is covering itself. And what I want to show you is how this relates to additional viral tactics we'll talk about. So this is a little dashboard that we typically have for our clients. This is one of the hits, Wikipedia, that came from this. It's a website that has a really big traffic from the American Kennel Club. And so what we did, if you look at it, we're looking at mass media value, social media value, and SEO value. So we're showing that this one website, it drove 4 million impressions for us on the mass media level. But look, there was over 4,000 engagements, shares or other things in social. So it's driving that. We're using it to seed social sharing. It's also having SEO value. So it's creating inbound links. The link from that to our site is raising the SEO profile. So the point I want to make about why all the tactics we're talking today are even more important than before is there's a much closer relationship now between mass media, social media, SEO. I call it the viral circle. They're all interconnected. And if you can tap into one, you can seed the other two. Okay, so this campaign for Milo's Kitchen, it lasted 8 weeks. We had over 500 media hits. The amazing thing was over 300 local TV stations covered it, right? We weren't in 300 cities, but it was covered all over. About 470 million impressions, the equivalent of a $5 million ad buy, right? So that's disproportionate leverage. How, with a little ingenuity, can we get a lot of result? Now, some of you, particularly from startups, may be thinking, well, this sounds great, but there's no way I'm funding a food truck for whatever it is. They go across the country, 15 cities. I don't have that kind of budget. How do we do it? So I want to show you an example of how you do it when you don't have a budget. So we did this once for for Milo's Kitchen, and we wanted something similar for Canine Carryouts, which is a much smaller brand. They basically don't do any marketing at all, but we needed to create some buzz, some good news for them, because there was this rumor about them having a recall, which wasn't true. And everyone kept asking, are you having a recall? And so instead, we just need some positive news to drown out all of that. So here's how we did the same concept without a truck, without much of a budget. It was really a rental car, Cody, and Hubert. And this is how we did it. Okay? So I'm going to play the little video. So what we did was we actually just got a rental car, we made some t-shirts up, and we came up with this concept of sending the food truck. What if we had the mission to make sure that no dog goes untreated? We were already doing another video shoot for another brand in Minnesota. So we said, take a half a day, drive around to dog parks, put on GoPro cameras, and let's shoot something. And so this is the video that resulted. And do we have enough sound? We should have enough sound for the video? I think so. Okay, here we go. So we had a whole series of these videos. That was just one in a series. But what we were trying to do there, and then there are even some strategic decisions we're doing, is that one of the big criticisms of this brand was that, oh, they don't have any kind of public presence. Is it just like a faceless brand? They don't care about dogs. They're just in it because they're serving our dogs crappy treats and stuff like that. So we actually made a decision to put Cody and Hubert in the video themselves. We want to show these are like cool guys. You want to hang out with these guys. They like dogs. They're not like there to hurt your dogs. And so it was the strategic decision of what we're trying to align to. But that's an example of you don't have the food truck, but you can still, when you start seeding that and spraying that, get a similar result of what our message is just by being a little bit, clever. And hey, that was, half day of filming, edited in a few hours, and then we're sharing a whole series of videos. Okay? Rule number 3, piggyback your brand on timely news. So for this one, the key is to think like a journalist to create content that aligns with the culture calendar. So part of how you make something viral is not just what you have to say about yourself, but how you can piggyback on the wave, how you can ride the wave that is already happening in culture and in the media. Okay? So here's how this works. One of our clients is Del Monte, and I wanted to pick an example that is maybe the least sexy product I could find, right? We need, as a group now, to sell canned green beans, okay? I want all of you to make canned green beans go viral, okay? Ready? Go. Okay, so how do you make canned green beans a sexy topic that all media will cover, right? So how do you create, one, that strategic context that we talked about that makes it more important? 2, second rule, how do you then, once you have the strategic context, how do you localize it at massive scale? And then rule number 3, which to just go back a second, is how do you piggyback on timely news? Can we do all 3 to make green beans go viral? And this is how we did it. We conducted a survey of 2,000 people to determine which U.S. state loves green bean casserole the most. This story, you're thinking like, I don't know if that's going to go viral. I don't know if I'm sharing which state loves green bean casserole the most. Well, I would bet this. 50 weeks out of the year, this will not be shared. It will not go viral. But 2 weeks out of the year, it will. Does anyone know which 2 weeks? Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving. So we timed this survey to hit during Thanksgiving to make our message more timely to seed that virality. Okay? So the winning headline from our testing was Thanksgiving story. Kentucky ranks #1 for love of green bean casserole. Is anyone here from Kentucky? No, you're back home eating green bean casserole. Okay. Does anyone here like green bean casserole? Okay, good. So here's what happened. So we pitched a unique ranking for media outlets in all 50 states. So this is where we make it timely, but also local. We have a different headline for all 50 states, 1 through 50. So if you're number 1, you get a pitch, man, you guys love green bean casserole. Rad. If you're number 50, you get a pitch, come on, people, pick it up. Love some green bean casserole. Let's go. Everyone loves it, right? So it doesn't matter where you are. Okay, so this is Denver, Colorado, running that Colorado ranks 8th for green bean casserole lovers on KTVD TV. This is Houston, Texas. Texas is number 14 for love of green bean casserole. Lexington, Kentucky, Del Monte survey, you can see 78% really like or love the dish. CBS Radio ran each state's local ranking across their entire national network. So this is CBS Chicago. Illinois barely makes top 20 states that love green bean casserole, a prestigious list, we assure you. Right? Okay? So that is like the radio buy is, again, $1 million radio buy to be able to do that overall. And then here is our pitch ran as the lead story on the front page of Yahoo and was hugely shared on Facebook. So this is in Yahoo News. Kentucky named the capital of that legendary Thanksgiving dish the green bean casserole. And then finally, for the brand, and this is how if you have, whatever your company is, or your product is, if you have like certain customers that you really want, maybe you don't want millions of people, but you want the right 1,000 people or the right 10,000 people. This is what we did for this. We laser targeted our pitch at media outlets with audiences of heavy canned food users, right? Those who are going to stock up on canned green beans. So this is Living the Country Life magazine, which, does anyone here read Living the Country Life magazine? No, it's a good publication, but I think if you do, you have a lot of canned food in your pantry, okay? So that's how we laser targeted. And so this was 2 weeks, 180 media hits, the ad value of about $500,000 if you're buying the ads, overall PR value of $1.5 million. So again, we've made it super timely, and that is sort of the raw fuel for virality as well. Rule number 4, build buzz with a brand content rollout. So we've learned that we have to make ourselves really relevant. We've learned that we have to be local but at scale. We have to be timely. But now, the timing of how we roll out the campaign really matters. So we can build more interest in our brand by building and then refreshing momentum. Here's an example, a little known example probably all of you have never heard of. So this is Gangnam Style. And we went back, and because we study how ideas spread, we study how things go viral, we wanted to look back and recreate what was the process that Gangnam Style went viral and how did it happen. So this is the breakdown. So it was seeded, first of all, on really like first mover insider kind of places. So does anyone here go to all K-pop? Is anyone here a K-pop, Korean pop fan? Okay, no, I would have thought so. Like K-pop's kind of popular now, especially if you're eating at Coco Bang late at night and they're playing like K-pop videos on the screen. So it was seeded at all K-pop, which it turns out is the most widely trafficked Korean pop website in the world. It's actually based in New Jersey. And it was seeded there, and places like Gizmodo and Gawker. So at this point, it's kind of this underground thing, Gangnam Style. It's like, oh, hey, that's kind of like a funny video. Now, what really broke it, so they seeded it and got all of like influencers, we're going to talk about that in a second, really actually focused on it, right? So but it's still under the radar for most of the people probably in this room, unless you're a K-pop aficionado. But what really broke it was then they placed it on Billboard. And once it hit Billboard, now it wasn't just like a slice of K-pop fans. It was a much wider range of music fans overall. And as they started going down this list, what really broke it internationally was actually CNN. It was covered on CNN. What was this like portly Korean guy, dancing like he's on a pony? And once that spread, then it went all over, and you started seeing it pop up internationally. Now, at about this point down here, what actually happens is it starts to taper off. So Gangnam Style is going to be a huge viral hit of about 50 or 60 million people. Great. Most of us would take that any day. But what happened here was this refresh, where basically the first time that they started sending the artist Psy on talk shows, TV shows, going around talking about, and all of a sudden you see basically the plays going down and then just shoot up. To the point where I think now, I don't know where it is now, but it's at least 2 billion. I remember it crossing that last year, and it keeps going. So the point is that a staged rollout, thinking about the influencers who have disproportionate influence, building on that, capitalizing on that, and then refreshing everything you're doing can have a huge impact overall. And I want to give you kind of more specific examples of that. So, that being said, before we go on, if you have a lightning pitch submission, hold it up right now, and this is going to be one of the most useful things we'll do today. Hold it up or fill it out, and then you'll come up afterwards, and we'll kind of go over. I think I see a few people writing them down, so just keep writing if you're not done, then hold it up for Kyrie. You'll talk about your product, and we'll brainstorm as a group for you, and I promise it will be helpful and useful. Okay? So, rule number 5. Share brand stories that activate key emotions. One of the things that's, I think, the most like counterintuitive aspects of helping things go viral is that we think, hey, to go viral, it's like we should A/B test. Of course we should. We should optimize. Of course we should. But then there's these like kind of amorphous things like emotion. Can we do it for emotion? It turns out we can. But what are the kind of emotions that we need to activate that cause ideas to spread and cause things to be shared? So, target emotions that naturally spark more social sharing. Anyone know the answer to this? What is the most shared section of the New York Times? Shout it out. What do you think? Most shared section of the New York Times? Crosswords. Okay, you're a crossword lover. Okay, anyone else? Sports, okay. Sports, maybe. Food, you think? Food. Okay, what else? Fashion, politics. I haven't heard it yet. Weddings, okay. Someone's got weddings on the okay. No, not that. I still haven't heard it. Anyone? Comics? No, not comics. Financial? No. Okay, you're raising money right now. I know. Okay, financial. Traffic and weather? Obituaries. You got a dark side. You got a dark side, David. Okay. Connections? No. Headlines? No. Cats? That's a good guess, but no. Anyone else? Come on. Someone's got. Births? Okay. I didn't know there was a section, but maybe the birth. That's cool. Anyone? Wait, who said science? Science. Dylan. Dylan is correct. Give Dylan a round of applause. Science. Okay. So, the most shared section of the New York Times is science. And the question is why? A lot of people did not like science class. A lot of people, maybe it sounds like a kind of like a geeky topic, maybe not something that has universal appeal. So why is science the most shared section? It's because it deals with an emotion that causes action. And that emotion is awe. What awe is the sense of wonderment. The sense of how this all fits together. The big picture. When you have that aha moment, you're like, I understand why I am here. You're experiencing awe. Okay? It suddenly makes sense. And it turns out that is one of the most activating emotions. What's an activating emotion? It doesn't just mean it's emotional. It means it causes action. So, anyone know an example of an emotion that is not activating? That is you'll feel it, but it won't cause action. Anyone have an idea? Stress. Someone said, who said sadness? Sadness. Absolutely. Why? Sadness is something, when you're truly sad, you want to go home and crawl in the bed and pull up the covers. You're not spreading anything. So, for instance, stories about 9/11. Very, very emotional. Very, very sad. They don't get shared. They don't get spread. It's not an activating emotion. So, as viral marketers, we're thinking, how can we activate emotions that do cause sharing, such as awe? So, let's connect to awe through the use of social content. And the example I want to use, this is one where you can actually go, awe. This is Morris the cat. He is the 9 Lives spokes cat, and 9 Lives is a client of ours. This is a 9 Lives cat food. And so we came on, and there was another, actually at the time, more famous social media agency that was doing this before us, and then it shifted over to us. And we saw, they were doing cute cat photos. We're like, okay, we'll do cute cat photos. They were doing cat holidays like National Cat Day or National Respect Your Cat Day. Okay, we'll do Cat Day and National Respect Your Cat Day. But the one difference we'll do is we're going to activate awe. We're going to activate that sense of wonderment, that sense of connection. And specifically, our idea to do that was maybe it's not just about the cat content. Maybe it's really about what that says to humans. What humans can learn about the world through it, through their love of cats, okay? So, here's an example of what we did. Always popular in presentations if I go with cat photos, like can't lose. Okay, so, This is a series we did on Morris cat wisdom. And I'll read you a couple and kind of explain what we're doing here. So, Morris cat wisdom number 2, nap to win. Morris says, you deserve a good nap. Personally, I sleep 16, 17, 18, maybe 19 hours a day, but not 20 hours. That would be excessive. Okay? So, what we're doing there is we're activating awe because he's actually giving advice to humans. You deserve a good nap. And so we want people to see this and be like, I like the cute cat, but oh yeah, I'm for naps. Naps are good. I can share that, right? I can get behind that. Morris cat wisdom number 6 in the series. We had a series of 9. Don't blame yourself. So this cat is looking at the plant, says, stuff happens. Things fall over. Were you the one who discovered gravity? Unless your name is Sir Isaac Newton, the answer is no. Right? So now we're saying we're activating awe because we're saying, hey, don't blame yourself. Things happen. Give yourself a pass. We're talking to humans, but we're using cats to do it. We're activating awe. And you're thinking, Morris is right. Okay, even though I'm a horrible boyfriend and husband, I'm okay. I give myself a pass. No, we're not saying that. Okay, so here's what happens. This is the chart of the 2 months after we came on board. This was Basic Post, which were the other agency. This is activating awe emotion. So in the similar time period, it went from 7,500 shares to 83,000 shares once we did that. And by the way, these photos we're using, we got much more developed and we started doing photo shoots and more original photos. These are stock photos we're pulling, right? We're pulling stock photos. We're putting some text on top of it. Production value is very, very simple. Okay? Here is Facebook audience reach. Basic Post activating awe. Went from 2,600 on average, this is unpaid, totally organic, to 25,000 in the 2 months after we did this. This is number of Facebook likes. 174 on average when we started, 1,872 once we activated awe. Number of comments, 15 before we started, 94 once we activated awe. And then we took that success in social and we activated awe in mass media. So these are unpaid posts on BuzzFeed, LA Times, where now we've seeded, Morris is relevant again, and now we're getting more mass media coverage. Reporters have emotions too. So we had a story in the New York Times and a story in Adweek. By the way, this Adweek one is unbelievable because the reporter actually interviews Morris, and it's a live Q&A with a cat. Okay? So it's amazing. So these reporters, and we pitched them. We were activating awe. We were activating actually some awe around what cats teach us about the world in our pitch, and also some nostalgia around Morris. So these reporters wanted to run the story because they had a personal connection to it. That's how we convinced them. Then we took Morris to South by Southwest. This is the actual cat. Here he is playing foosball against Katy Perry's Left Shark from the Super Bowl. And so we did a deal with Mashable, and we turned Morris into a tech correspondent for Mashable. So we recorded videos with a voiceover artist as he reported on technology at South by Southwest. Okay? And all of those reporting he's doing, we're activating awe because he's talking to humans, showing how technology relates to their experience, but doing it through cats. Once we do that, we see all metrics of engagement go up. So finally, I want to give you a sense of comparing June 2014 to March 2016, simply by activating emotions and causing awe. So when we started out, if you look at this chart here, this was before us, 500,000 impressions organic overall. Recently, we hit 10 million unpaid on Facebook at a time where people think you have to pay Facebook if you want to get people to see it. We went from, that was up 20x. Audience reach, we hit 6 million people in a month. It was 200,000 only a year and a half earlier, right? Shares up 25x, comments up 15x, likes up 20x. There's one stat that's not on there, which we track, which is really interesting, which is the percent of virality of your overall impressions. Meaning, what percent were not fans of Morris, but saw it because someone else shared it, engaged with it, and it showed up in their feed. We went from about 15% before we activated awe, which was how much viral sharing we get, to over 50% of our totals were from virality simply by doing that. So this is something that can be measurable. It's something that works. And the whole key is, how do you activate emotions that cause action? Rule number 6, and then we'll get to the lightning pitch. Target brand influencers with niche audiences. So a small number of key influencers can spread your content globally. who has seen a video that looks like that? It's Tara the Hero Cat. Raise your hand if you've seen this video. Okay, a few people, maybe some don't recognize it. This is a cat who saved a 4-year-old boy from an attacking dog. Okay? Something that went viral. And we went back and I spent a whole day making phone calls trying to trace how this went viral. Like it was kind of fun. It was almost like, tracing like a disease back to ground zero, going back to figure out who was the initial person who spread it. And here is the timeline. It went from 4:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. the same day. It had its first 1 million views on YouTube. It started out, it actually was a TV show. It was on the morning news at 5:03 a.m. It aired in Bakersfield, California. At 5:50 a.m., the cat's owner posted the YouTube video to Facebook page. The video appears at Kiro TV website, then at the sister station, WRTV website. But at this point, no one really knows about it. It's this like little quirky thing, someone saw it, it's like doomed to just be something that just, never reaches our consciousness. But here's what happened. There was a 10-minute period involving 4 people that caused this to spread all over the world. It went from 8:18 to 8:28. Twitter user number 1 tweets link to video on Kiro TV website. Reddit user number 1 tweets link. Reddit user number 2, Twitter user number 2. These were not people that had large audiences, but what happened is, this is the viral circle, the interrelationship between social media and mass media. Those people actually had a lot of followers, had access to more media. So what happened is those were people who knew other TV producers, other website editors. And those 4 people then caused it to then start popping up on Mediaite, Jezebel, Huffington Post, The Wire, TMZ. And this is what I would suggest to all of you is that the velocity of virality has sped up in recent years. Things go viral faster. So, how can influencers help us make the Milk-Bone brand, one of our clients, trend on social media? So here's what we did to use the same principles, the same principle you can use. So we created a new holiday. We called it #DoggyDateNight. And in fact, I just saw Neil Kay, who's standing there in the back. Neil Kay was a contest winner. Thank you for participating in Doggy Date Night. He won a ton of dog treats that night. I still need to get you the treats. So I will do that. So we created Doggy Date Night on Twitter on February 3rd. So to seed this, people said, well, how do you make something trend on Twitter? Can you get viral reach in 2 hours or less? And 20 unpaid influencers, Kyrie was working on this, Kristen was working on this, and they invited their fans to join our Twitter event and have a pre-Valentine date with their dog. So we seeded it with these influencers. Now, 20 unpaid influencers, what were they getting? They were getting a lot of dog treats, and they were getting a few other gifts. So it was barter, it was in kind. The 7 paid, were we paying Kim Kardashian? No. Were we paying millions of dollars? No. Were we paying thousands of dollars? No. We were paying on average between $100 to $200 per influencer to help seed this with their audience. And here's what happened. So, fan tweets are starting to come in. It's Doggy Date Night. People are showing Milk-Bone products. They're showing dogs. This is what they're doing on their date. They're doing all of the, what's called user-generated content that causes stuff that brands love. They're doing it naturally, and people are sharing these. Here, Nala, the Shiba Inu, wants in. Doggy Date Night. There she is. Milk-Bone products, right? These are just people who are participating. And so, in 2 hours on Twitter, we had 77 million impressions by seeding it with influencers first. The same principle as Tara the Hero Cat. Here's the overall reach. So, 2 hours, audience reach, 6.1 million people, event participants, 788, total Twitter posts, 8,400 to cause it to trend. So, partially this is where the title for today's presentation goes, is how to get 6 million people to love your brand. So, we've learned today, be relevant, be local but at scale, be timely. Now, let's leverage influencers who have disproportionate weight. And so, we believe that all brands should leverage both organic and paid influencer outreach. And in our opinion, you don't have to pay a lot. Like, this is a case where we think you can play Moneyball, if you know the book or the movie, and you can target those influencers. You can get the same effect as hiring Kim Kardashian without paying Kim Kardashian by assembling smaller groups of influencers together that are undervalued, and that's what we specialize in. Okay? So, 3 methods of organic engagement for influencers. 1, a timely topic that's super relevant to them. You can get them to spread it. 2, unique content. We create all kinds of infographics, videos, surveys to give influencers content that they can't get anywhere else that they'll share. 3, barter deal. We provide all kinds of swag, gifts. Right now, we're sending out to influencers like cases of Harmless Harvest coconut water in exchange for posting, right? So we do all those things, and targeting those influencers with disproportionate influence has huge results. And so while paid influencer outreach is transactional, organic outreach builds deeply loyal raving fans. And so taking a little bit of the extra effort and not taking the shortcut of just, hey, I can pay someone, they're going to share it, gets a deeper engagement with a deeper overall result. So I'll stop right now before I do the last point. And Kyrie, did you see any other questions or anything that came in from anyone streaming or anything else? Or is there anyone in the room that has a question that you didn't tweet in that you have one now before I do rule number 7? Yeah, Tim.
You were saying that when you make a survey or when you do a release, sort of like the earlier part of your talk, where is that to? So where are you initially, how are you reaching the wire service, or how are you reaching the news service, like with your brand?
Yeah, so the question, Tim's question was, so yes, we do a survey, yes, we create some news, but then how do we seed it? How are we putting it out there? How are we getting people to cover it? So there's a couple answers to that. One is, at PR Hacker, what we're actually doing is we're tracking 350,000 media contacts around the US. So we're tracking what they're covering, and we're actually pitching lots of people to pitch that story. So it's not a wire release. It's an individual email, often, or tweet, or phone call, or something else, but that we typically do it at scale. One tip is that we love email for 2 reasons for a pitch. One reason is that it allows you to pitch the wrong person and get a successful result. The reason is that you pitch the wrong person, but if it's a great story, it is often forwarded to the right person. So it's like, okay, yes, I'm the lifestyle reporter for the New York Times, but I don't really cover pet stuff. But I'm going to forward this to the person who really does. So we love email for that. The second reason we love email is that we can optimize and schedule it for maximum conversion. So what we will do is we will pitch a TV show at 4:32 a.m. if it's a morning show, because for that TV show, it's the best time to convert, where no one else is pitching them and that producer is at their desk. But we'll also pitch an influential blogger at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday because they work full time and that's the only time they're working on their blog. So email has a lot of advantages, but typically our best method is that we actually track these contacts and pitch them. If you are doing this on your own, one thing to do is look for people with disproportionate influence. So a common tactic would be, let's look at the last 6 months of coverage. Let's see everyone who's covered a similar topic and let's target them directly. Okay? Yeah, quick question.
If you can, share the cost of these campaigns, maybe the minimum and the maximum, just to have an idea, if it's possible.
Okay, the minimum $1, the maximum $1 million. I don't know. For us, I mean, we can have a conversation. We can have a conversation, but it depends what's involved. What I'll say is this: is that often for us, things and campaigns we do, it costs thousands of dollars, but it doesn't have to cost a lot. For some of our biggest clients, we do $500,000 campaigns. So there's a wide range. But the point I want to make is it's often not about the money you spend, either if you do this with us or someone else. Because money is kind of a blunt instrument. It's like, okay, I can hide the fact that I have a bad idea by just like putting a bunch of money in, and I'll get some paid amplification and it'll be fine. So in my opinion, having the discipline to figure out, and this is just the brainstorm process that I do and that we do, is that, okay, we're doing a campaign. How do we approach this campaign if we're Apple Computer? We have all the resources in the world. How do we do it? Now let's think, how do we approach this campaign if we cannot spend a single dollar? Right? It's totally, we have zero money. How do we approach it? And you push the envelope on both sides. So, our campaigns, are often in the tens of thousands of dollars that we work on. It kind of depends what's involved. But it's not really about the money. It's about how do you push the idea to get that viral result. Okay? Let me move on to rule number 7. Test and optimize brand messaging. So this will be one of the most important things I kind of talk about, which is for viral brand content, optimizing the little things makes a big difference. This is incredibly powerful and incredibly scary. What this means, as the powerful side, one little thing you do tonight has the potential to make all the difference in your product going viral. That's awesome. That's powerful. The scary part is if you screw up one little thing tonight, it could prevent this otherwise viral concept from going viral, right? So it's a double-edged sword. So how can we optimize to get a better result? So can the headline of content you create, if you're using content for marketing, can that headline get 10x better results? Let's see. So 2 options. This is for a real client we had that had an app that would prevent people from texting and driving. So the idea is that you're driving along, it detects that you're driving, and it reads text messages to you out loud without you having to do everything. Okay? So we had 2 headlines to pitch that product. Option A, 5 simple ways to finally stop texting and driving. Not a bad one, right? Why do we like numbers, like 5 things? The reason we like that and why you see them in BuzzFeed headlines is because we live in an uncertain world. And in our uncertain world, there's a heck of a lot of shades of gray. Some say there are 50 shades of gray. Now, when you live in this uncertain world, we love things that are black and white, right? We love things that, oh, there's only 5 simple ways to stop. There's not 6, there's not 12, there's not 570, there's 5. That is reassuring. So that is the strength of that headline. Option B, how to convince your kids to never text and drive again. Option B. So who votes for option A? 5 simple ways to stop texting and driving. Okay, got a few people. Who votes for option B? How to convince your kids to never text and drive again. A few more people. Why did you vote for option B for those people? Not people in yellow shirts.
One answer, it seems like just one straight answer instead of 5.
Okay, you're saying one straight answer, so you think, okay, we made it maybe even simpler. It's like, instead, it's like having like, what is it, like 5-minute abs, 4-minute abs, 3-minute abs. If I can do 1-minute abs and have a 6-pack, I'm all in. Okay, yes, back there.
Emotion.
Emotion. Specifically what emotion?
Kids are dying out there.
Okay, so, yes, what this one does, it activates emotion. Now, there's lots of emotions you can activate. I love activating awe, but there's another emotion you can activate too, which it seems like in this election cycle, different candidates are doing as well, which is fear. Which is also an activating emotion. When you're fearful, you also will shout things. You also will spread the word. So the second one, now we're it's doing that. So the results, option B had 10 times more engagement. Okay, in terms of us pitching that story, pick up and sharing. Right? When we did option B, we had dozens of sheriff departments across the U.S. create petitions to prevent kids from texting and driving. Sign a petition to say you won't do it, right? That was the emotional impact of that story. Here's another one. We had a client who is a marketplace for used gadgets. Like you can sell your iPhone on it when the new iPhone comes out. So, option A, study. 72% of Americans are gadget hoarders. That was a term that we came up with. We thought it had viral potential because we knew the term hoarder, and we're like, a gadget hoarder, that kind of sounds like something that like sounds like a disorder. It sounds kind of good like that because it's like you hear it and you're like, ooh, am I a gadget hoarder? We liked it, okay? Option B, though, we changed one word, study. 72% of Americans are compulsive gadget hoarders. Compulsive was the only word, difference. Who thinks option A was more viral and had more conversion? Okay, no one, you're like starting to see a pattern here. Option B, who thinks with the addition of compulsive? Why would compulsive cause this to have more engagement, more emotion, more virality?
It's the truth.
You saying it's the truth? Okay, you think that's true that it's compulsive? What else?
Maybe someone would question if they have this compulsion.
Someone would question if they have a compulsion. Okay, that's kind of, I think that's getting at. Anyone else? Why? Yeah?
I want to know if you're compulsive.
You want to know if you're compulsive. Here's why I think. This is my theory. Gadget hoarding is a description. If you're a compulsive gadget hoarder, you have a disease. We have created a disease out of thin air to make our company go viral. As soon as we started pitching this one, you know what we got back from reporters? Like, OMG, I totally have this. You should see my desk drawer. Haha. Right? They were having an emotional response to the pitch itself. They were stopping responding as a reporter or an editor or a producer or a journalist, and they were responding as a person having an emotional response to our story, right? So the end result of that, Option B had 10x more engagement simply by changing one word. Okay? So, with all of this, one of the key principles is if you don't measure, you can't optimize. So everything that we do, we're testing headlines, we're measuring them. We're testing the virality of social posts, we're measuring them. And so that point right there is like sometimes people go into advertising, like, okay, I'm going to measure the conversion rates of these ads. Okay, I'm doing landing pages, I'm going to measure the conversion. But the moment people start talking about, okay, I'm using influencers, okay, I'm pitching media, okay, I'm leveraging PR, then all of a sudden all that measurement goes out the window. But if you measure, then you can create those emotions that cause the sharing you want. Okay? So with that said, Cody, how are we doing on lightning pitches? We're doing great on lightning pitches. Okay, so let's call up the first person, and the best way, we're going to do two things. One, we're going to call up a couple people to pitch, and we're going to brainstorm live as a group. This is the best way to actually internalize what we're talking about. And two, after this, I'm going to wrap up with one thought, which is probably the most powerful example I'm going to give today, which is a mathematical example of how things go viral. Okay? So, let us see the first one.
Leah from Ava.
Leah from Ava. Okay, come on up. And what you're going to do is you're going to just explain your product or your brand in 30 seconds, and we're going to start, a 5-minute clock, and we're going to brainstorm live. So, okay, so tell us what your name is. Leah?
Yeah.
Leah, tell us.
Is a startup. We've developed a sensor bracelet that women can wear during the night. So it's a wearable. And it basically non-invasively tracks the hormonal changes during the menstrual cycle. So what we do with that's what we're getting to, is we help couples have a baby. We help couples to figure out which is the right day for them to plan and try for a baby. And that's what we're doing.
Okay.
And I would actually like to brainstorm on something specific here,
okay.
Which is Mother's Day is in a week.
Okay.
We have nothing prepared for Mother's Day. We are pre-launch. And I think it would be really nice to do something on Mother's Day for us.
Okay, great. So, it's called Ava. It's a very nice elevator pitch too, right? Very understandable. I liked it. Had the value proposition, had the problem in there, had lots. I used to be like a pitch trainer, so a very good one. Okay, so it's a wearable. You can track hormonal cycles, so you can have the peak time and understand the peak time to have a baby. Okay, so let's start brainstorming viral stories, and let's start out a really nice framework to think about this. Okay, is some of the principles we talked about. So, what is the strategic context? What is something around this product that all of a sudden makes it more important, interesting, newsworthy, or valuable? Who has something?
People want babies.
Okay, well, people want babies. That's the value proposition. But what else is around there? So she suggested one to us, which she said Mother's Day, right? So how else can we engage the strategic context around this? What other things would be interesting? Current mothers, existing mothers, yes.
Maybe a number of young children that are desiring a little sibling. Someone had a news story about that. My nephew wants a baby sister so bad.
Okay, so you're saying the strategic context around this is not even just the mom itself, but do something. The context is those who already have kids that want more, or actually appreciating that this is what your kids really want. So don't do it for yourself, do it for your kids. Yes. Okay, so busy. So let's put a context around this. Let's do it time management. Let's do it like how to have some time in your relationship for a little bit of Al Green on the stereo, a little bit of there we go, Hubert, a little bit of baby making time, right? That's a different angle on the context. Yeah, Esther.
Kim Kardashian came up with something where she was saying, me and Kanye have sex 500 times a day, and it was something that was quoted everywhere. Well, you don't have to have sex 500 times a day, because you can actually time it to a more optimal time. Okay, so
this is another thing. It's what if you want to have a baby, but you don't want to have Kimye level sex? What can you do? You can leverage, we call it a Goliath pitch, and what a Goliath pitch is what you do is you leverage someone that is more well-known or more famous than you. You use that as the hook to bring people into you. You could do that as well, yes?
I would use, women in tech topic, because it's very hot. And women in tech, they're very busy, they want to be entrepreneur, but they're trying to find work-life balance. And this topic is really hot, and maybe you can use that content to promote your... I
love this, because what has she done right there with the context? She's just put, the strategic context is technology, startups, something that we probably would think not even related. We probably would say, okay, if we're going to get technology and startup coverage, we're just going to pitch the technology of our product. Instead, what she's done is she's totally shifted the thinking to actually think of, okay, that's a problem in this vertical. Can we actually have stories about how you have that billion-dollar
targeting the men, which is how to know when it's time.
Okay, so targeting the men's magazines, how to know when it's time to hit play on the Al Green, and you're going by like don't stay late at your startup, come home right now, like let's do some things here. Okay, yeah.
Just the fact that I guess women are having babies later in life because we're getting our degrees, going to work, so that's kind of like a problem. We're older when we're trying to have babies, so it's harder to have babies, when you're older. It's harder to conceive, so this is making it easier.
Okay, so we can start thinking about different target groups and how we adjust the story for that. What about for Mother's Day? She asked specifically about that. Mother's Day is coming up. Yeah. Hey, how are you?
So I was going to say, I guess like the target audience would be women who want to have children. Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could pull at the heartstrings and say, like, don't let another Mother's Day go by childless.
Okay, so
Buy your bundle of joy.
okay, so like you can say like the heartstring of like the ultimate gift for Mother's Day is for that future mom that doesn't have a baby yet or something like that, right? So I can see actually for Mother's Day, I can see a whole range of, and I'll get you in the back, a whole range of, it could be actually like survey questions about which states are the most kind of like baby crazy who love baby. What are the most baby loving states in the U.S.? We could come up with some metrics for that. We actually had one we did for dogs where we did we did the most dog. I don't just do dog campaigns, but we had the most dog-loving states. We actually did a ranking based on, do you let your dog kiss you on the mouth? Do you sleep with your dog? Do you do all those things? So we had that. So I think that's really interesting. I also think it's interesting, maybe you could do something across to the point about different age ranges, like an actual survey based on your occupation. Are you more or less likely to have a baby later in life? That could be what is interesting about that story is that it allows you to pitch every industry vertical for every occupation. So then you could go after law, real estate, this saying, oh, if you're in these careers, are you setting aside your dreams of family for your career to a greater or lesser extent than other fields? Any last ones? I know we're probably almost out of time. Yes?
Companies are increasing maternity leave for mothers that are newly pregnant.
Okay, so companies are increasing maternity leave, so we could maybe leverage that, and so we could actually do a job or career kind of piece, talking about how do you find that company that truly supports you having your kid, and that's one, or what are the companies that have benefits for those that apply to those who want to have kids and are having a little bit trouble? Are there companies that have benefits? What are the top 20 companies in the world that are supportive of their future moms having kids? All right, okay. One last one, because you're okay. You must say it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. You were talking about dogs, and I came up with the idea like to make a survey to compare how much it costs to support dog and the kid, and maybe having animals. I mean, dog is much more expensive.
Okay, so you're saying, okay, you can do a personal financing, like it's like a better deal, or to have a kid than a dog. Go have a kid.
That could be really funny.
Well, and so
that having a dog is more expensive than a kid.
Sure. Well, and there's ways like Mother's Day is an obvious tie-in, but one of the things about strategic context is it lets you tie in other holidays. So for instance, let's do Mother's Day, but then let's talk about Father's Day only a month later. What's a dad's perspective on this? If we want to do a pet example, there's actually, National Dog Day. Could we actually get a story we could do something related to the percentage of millennials, which I think I just saw a stat. It was like over 60% of millennials believe that having a dog prepares you for having kids. And talk about those, and those it's maybe an interesting story about the dog to baby transition for those who really want to have babies, right? That could be a thing. So when we're creative, and I'm going to show you a mathematical example that brings us home at the end, there's a lot of possibility. Is that helpful?
It actually was. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Give her a round of applause. How are we doing on time?
That was good.
Okay.
I do want to take a moment to point out what Claris is doing over here.
Yes. Yeah, Claris is great, and actually Claris, she's done for like some of the I know you're like, okay, you're like, okay, no, she's done like kind of live recording for some of the largest companies in the world. She did it at the United Nations and all of that, so she's a great addition to PR Hacker. We do a lot of strategy and brainstorming sessions with our clients, and we'll draw things out as we do it, so she's fantastic. Okay, so, Seaman from Scorp. Okay, hey, come on up here real quick. We'll do this and let me check. Okay. Okay, so give us the 30-second elevator pitch of what Scorp is.
Okay, basically Scorp is like the video version of Twitter. Instead of hashtags, we have headlines, and instead of 140 characters, we have 15 seconds of videos.
Okay, so 15 seconds of videos, and so people are they're kind of like
15.
Oh, 50.
Yeah,
5.
1-5.
Oh, 1-5. 15 seconds of video. So and people are engaging in like that kind of like they're shooting a short video off their phone. That's in a feed where you see it like Twitter. Okay.
Actually, they're engaging under different topics. Like for example, you could also tell like the video version of Reddit as well. So people are discussing about any topic in videos.
Okay, right. So it makes it a little bit easier then, right? Because what you're saying is, okay, it's a little bit curated, a little bit structured. So you're not just on Twitter and you're getting like random stuff about doggy date night with your, growth hacking tips all in one, right? It's a little bit more organized so you can discover more things. Okay, so let's talk about let's talk about story ideas here. So another lens we can look through is how do we make this really timely? How do we make it relevant to what's going on right now to make it more viral? What's something we could do, Doug?
Presidential debate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so presidential election debate. How can we tie in that to, and what do we think about the election to tie in and make a case for why this more curated format for sharing videos would be important? What could we do? Anyone? Yeah.
Well, like Trump's voice is very polarizing, I guess, and so if his whole thing is video and audio, that's totally different than Twitter. So it has emotion if people hear it.
Okay, so if normally what we do is we could do something on Twitter that's like a data study of like what's sentiment right now. Do people like what Trump said or don't like what Trump said? But then if we take it a step further and sort of say we're trying to engage the video side, if we're actually showing like are people sharing little clips of Trump? Are they? Oh, this is the door. Yeah, Trump's here. Okay, little video clips of Trump. Are they doing something else? That's a possibility. What else for? Yeah.
If you want it to be timely, let's say July 4th's coming up. It's a new way to share your experiences from July 4th. What did you do on July 4th? And you can show a cool video.
Okay, so you're maybe making it relevant to a holiday or something else. So maybe what we're doing is we're targeting your new barbecue vertical or something like that, right? Of all kinds of things like that. So maybe we're going to come out with a story on like the 20 most surprising ways to barbecue that we've seen across the U.S. Or maybe we do something about like the difference in barbecue patterns from like the South to the West to the East, but in a visual way. If we have good video, the advantage we have is that we can pitch a lot of local TV. So if we have local TV, we can give them B-roll, and that's interesting to sort of say, how does barbecuing in Texas compare to elsewhere in the world? That could be something. Yeah, Kyrie.
I was thinking you could pitch it to influencers as a platform, like the same way people have podcasts or have like channels on YouTube. They could have this channel where they present whatever their topic is or their news story in a really short, easily digestible format, a 15-second video, and there will be influencers based on this app solely, like the same way there's YouTube influencers.
Okay, so the point here is that we kind of got to get people using this. We want to have influencers. Maybe we can work out the barter arrangements, the other things. One thing that's really powerful, like, so who's your target user for this? I mean, we're talking, are they men, are they women, are they everyone? What topics?
Well, actually, we have 2.5 million users back in Europe, so mainly in Turkey and Germany, and these are college students. So we have like some examples that gone viral. It was mainly like relationship stuffs, like for example, Dear Ex, and then everybody tells his opinion or his message to his ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend.
Okay, so we could have more topic, and we could time that with occasions that would matter. So, for instance, there used to be something at at Harvard, I think they called it like Black Monday, where like everyone came back from Thanksgiving and they had college and student publications related to that's time for that date, talking about how people, a survey of how people who are staying together and breaking up when they're going home for Thanksgiving, and we have some really interesting videos that can help illustrate that. What else can we do to make it local? Anything we can do to make it local? Yeah.
So I think just because 15 seconds as a video is expensive, maybe something like a quick fix thing, like to fix your cell phone, replace your, or something informative that's you make 15 seconds. It's cheap to make. All you need is a green screen. Maybe like, make a beautiful pancake recipe or like some chocolate or whatever it is. Like a lot of, I feel like a lot of people on Facebook see these videos about cooking. I see a lot of people getting addicted. It's quick. I even see BuzzFeed doing it. So if whatever's cheaper, I would say, you ever think of it as like the cheapest way to make the video in 15 seconds?
Okay, so there might be other possibilities of kind of leveraging what you see kind of elsewhere to then bring it over to the platform. What about just like, if we're comparing ourselves to like Twitter or something like that, is there any way we can leverage that, right? Is there some way to leverage what Twitter's good at and what's not? There's a ton of news saying right now that, is Twitter going to go to more of an algorithm-based model in their news feed and just sort of like a stream of stuff? Is that Twitter's problem of why it kind of sort of lost out to Facebook? Is this a potential solution to it because maybe people consume video primarily in a different way than they do it? So maybe we do a Goliath pitch and we leverage off of Twitter's struggles to say, is this the new Twitter from Turkey? There's a lot of power. There's a couple things you can do to make things more viral. One is negative is slightly more viral than positive. So what that means is the biggest mistakes, the biggest problems are slightly more viral than the biggest tips, the biggest advice. Second thing you can do, and we often do this a lot, where we can't stay like it's a little bit presumptuous of us to say this company is the next Uber or this company is the blah blah. So instead we put a question mark at the end. So what we do, we said, is this company the next Uber? Yeah. Is this company the next Twitter? Like everyone's talking about it, but I don't know, right? Allows us to do a little bit more positioning, add a little bit more virality to something, make a little bit of a bolder claim than we otherwise could. All right, give CNN a round of applause. Oh, and let's do, and I have some other ones here, but let's do Doug. You brought samples, right?
We did.
You brought samples. Okay, this is good.
All right. Who here has? I've been surveying the audience. Who here has their phone in their hand right now? Right here. Who else? Who else has been naughty?
Okay.
Mr. Kaplan. What's your name, sir? Iqbal. Iqbal almost passed out with Mr. Kaplan's phone right there. I
don't have a sheet, but he brought some stuff inside. Just let's do like two more. Okay.
All right, Benji. What Doug's doing now? Like, let's give us the pitch.
Benji, let's see what you got.
Here, come stand over here on the little X here.
What Doug is doing right now is putting people's phones in a lockable case. That lock is virtually impenetrable by human hands. We are the first and only that we know of company in the world that creates phone-free spaces, 100% phone-free spaces. We are not a software company, obviously. We have a simple proprietary mechanism that unlocks our pouches, and then we physically lock them with our hands. Our CEO, Graham Dugoni, in 2012 predicted a world that would be compulsive, addicted, overly engaged with our devices and social media.
Let's look at the people in the back.
So, what's the big deal? Why would someone want to use this? Well, it all started with Hannibal Buress. Back in 2014, he did a comic bit in which he kind of outed Bill Cosby's faults to the world. That video went viral on YouTube. No bad press is, what's the phrase? There's no
such thing as bad press.
No such thing as bad press. Well, Hannibal Buress received death threats and didn't want to go back to that position. He hired us to make all of his comic shows from there on out phone free. Dave Chappelle was next. And we signed Alicia Keys last week to do a private showing for her
Okay,
unheard
so
songs in New York.
so it's called
Yonder.
It's called Yonder.
Yonder.
It's both a case and a service also, or just a case and a service to make sure that people are on their phones for lots of different applications, including just like listening to a great speaker about viral marketing, or
The classroom.
concerts, weddings, and all of that. Okay, so let's talk about strategic context for them. What are, and they might have even just given us a bunch, what can we do to make this more interesting by talking about the use cases of this product?
The bedroom.
The bedroom. Okay. Okay, so that's true. You know, we did a study a couple years ago for a client where we actually did a survey question of the percentage of people who will check their text messages while having sex. And it was high. It was above 50%. Okay? So I don't know. So that's an interesting one. An interesting spin on that is like relationship stuff. A survey on, are you getting distracted by too much social media, not being present in the moment with your significant other? Yes?
I know this is a little bit boring from sex to something else, but I would take it like financial or like executive level, like how to have an efficient board meeting.
Okay, so how to have an efficient board meeting. So it's a totally different vertical, totally different thing. It's like, what are those distractions that get in the way? What are you trying to say about our meetings, Cody? What are you trying to say by that? Right? So, is there a way to do that? Yes?
I was going to say also on those lines, like going to like a big golf tournament, or I don't know, I was thinking of situations where this would be a really good product, as I said to the back.
Okay, so we kind of think that could lend itself maybe to an influencer campaign. That could also lend itself to what we call like more of like a real-time video. So a video that we have where we have like the before and after of Hannibal Buress, like when he doesn't have it and then when he has it, and something like that that can actually spread. That can be really interesting. Yeah, Michael.
Pick a place, a situation where you have a lot of people chronically on their devices, that if you took them away, there would be the seeds of social interaction. So it's watch what happens when we...
Okay, so that could, one, potentially be some kind of viral video that has something where we went to a bar and everyone was on their phone, right? And then we went to the same bar, we took it away, and watch what happened. You see like people like coming up and people are like dancing and all this stuff.
Drinking.
Like, drinking, okay.
Your sales spike at our venues.
Okay, so that's interesting. So like maybe something in the restaurant and bar industry. So if we could do like for instance, we know something's more viral if we can quantify it and put a number on it. So what if we did something and we could just do a small sample in San Francisco and be like, how to increase your end of weekend receipts by $1,072 in 5 minutes or less, simply by implementing this, right? We could put a dollar value. Yes, yeah, Jen.
I love it.
Okay, so we could have something where like it's maybe like it's sort of like a hidden camera thing, and unbeknownst to someone, they left their phone on a table, and then we sent in our crew and took away their phones, and now they don't know where their phone is, and now they're panicking and stuff like that. And then we could say, everyone take a deep breath, relax. Yeah, Liz.
I can foresee a really good live pitch here where you bring in Tinder and you say something like, we're bringing dating back, goodbye Tinder. And you know, the other day I was at dinner and I saw a guy sitting at...
But you're married, so you weren't on a Tinder date, no? Okay, you're not on Tinder. Okay, good. Okay.
I saw a guy sitting at opposite tables and neither of them had phones and they started talking and flirting and I almost died. I was like, oh my God, dating still exists. And I think you could really hop on that and have this dating angle.
Okay, so there could be a dating angle. There could be even a survey where you talk about what % of people would prefer to meet someone organically versus on an app. And we could talk about what % of people think apps impede the ability to meet organically. What % of people would be, girls or women would be attracted to a guy who wasn't on his phone while they were in a bar. We could keep going with that. Yeah, maybe like one last in the back, all the way in the back, new person.
What about something geared towards traffic safety?
Traffic safety.
I like it.
Okay, so you think traffic safety, to use our example before of like your kids or something like that. So maybe it's something that's even like, you know, the kids, like if you want your first car, you're going to put it in this device until you get at your destination, or kids or parents that are doing that.
For more than just teenagers, also for habitual cell phone users.
Okay, habitual cell phone users and stuff like that. Okay, compulsive cell phone users. And I think, yeah, Vince.
A great market to target would be Hollywood in terms of screenings. Try to, prevent anybody from leaking footage. So you can say, hey, you want to come to our screening? All right, I'm going to need your phone. Yeah. Or even with Thanksgiving, I know a lot of times I'll go to, go visit my parents and say, okay, we're not going to have phones here. So you can go ahead and use Ava and target the parents and maybe do a brand partnership.
Okay, you have that. And Vince actually, he came to us from LA because he used to work at Paradigm Talent Agency and dealt with a lot of big celebrities and stars in Hollywood and that kind of world. So, yeah, one last comment.
Use case, for example, in plane, that everyone said that you shouldn't turn off your phone, but nobody does it. Yeah. So the second use case, very popular in California, that Vipassana. Do you know Vipassana what is?
No.
Meditation that people go for 10 days, they turn off the phone, doesn't speak with anyone, but there are lots of people that can't handle it, just 10 days without phone, not speaking.
Scary prospect.
Yeah.
So maybe we're having a story
As well,
even in technology here, which is like the low-tech device that is saving sanity in high tech. Or something like that, and like that kind of juxtaposition.
You're hired.
Okay, what's that?
You're hired.
Okay, give Benji and Doug a round of applause.
Thanks, Ben.
Okay, thank you. Should we do? Okay, let's do this. Probably the last one, and then I'm gonna give you the kind of mathematical example that brings us all home. Okay, WizCal. Here, why don't you come sit over here.
Hello. My friend Devin here introduced me to this thing that I'm going to tell you. A few minutes ago, before this, I was speaking with Rachel there at Rackspace, and I ask you two questions, and we'll see if we take it a third. First, how much time you spend, or how many meetings you have in a given day in your work life? Is it 3 or more? She said, yeah, probably more. The next question, how much time you really invest in scheduling these meetings? Is it more than 9 minutes a day? She said, yes. I said, give me some time. I'm going to show you. You can do it in 10 seconds. That was the conversation. She gave me a card. I have an appointment to see her. So, the deal is, Mr. Genius here has created a solution where his punchline, he told me, is meeting scheduling has never been easier. That's the punchline.
Okay, so it's an app, it's a website, it's an app.
It's an app that sits on Outlook that you guys use, 800 million of you. It sits there, and all you do is right-click, new meeting, and say, what's your name?
Benji.
Set a meeting with D, and comes Benji. Say D, is it Doug? I want to set a meeting with those two on Friday afternoon.
Okay, and it's checking the dancing.
It's looking at 1 calendar, 100 calendars, million calendars, 10 million calendars.
Okay.
Now I'm here because you said 6 million.
Okay, 6 million.
He told me 2 nights ago, I want 10 million users by a year.
Okay. WizCal. I give WizCal. Yeah. WizCal. I like it. Okay. So this makes scheduling easy. You're going to have much more time in your day. How do we make that something worth talking about? Ideas. Yeah.
Also about dating, that if someone uses lots of dating apps and have lots of
okay, so
it's easy, just Katie, she has long blonde hair,
Okay, so you're saying like a dating application where you're like, man, you are online dating quite a bit if you need like a scheduling help. That's good. That's good. I mean, I like the kind of creative thinking on the industry. Yeah.
I don't have anything creative, but we've all been there where it's countless emails with one person rescheduling constantly. Oh, I actually can't make 2:30. Can you make 2? I can't make 2. How about tomorrow? Oh, and then it would be funny if you actually wind up having the meeting at the first time you offered it.
Okay, so you think something like I can see that as like a video or something else. Like Huber, I can imagine you filming this where you have people that it's like the back and forth and all the things that happen, and like I can see like the seasons changing. They still haven't had the meeting, right? Suns are rising, they're setting, kids are growing up, people are getting beards, all this stuff. They still haven't had this meeting, right, or something like that. Okay, so that's a possibility. Yeah. Kristen, yeah.
I would say figuring out how much time you spend a year scheduling meetings and adding all that time up, and then doing a story on all the other things you could do at that time.
Okay, that's great. That's great for an infographic, right? So all the times you could have spent, like, with your kids, with your family that you spend on this, all the you could have been like with your friends, having fun, all the other things you would love to do. And maybe then, to take that one step further, we could target it per industry, right? Because this is universal industry appeal. So we could say, oh, if you're like all the other things, if you're an accountant or a lawyer or a real estate agent or an engineer that they would like to do, we could actually personalize it for every industry. And so
assign a dollar value to that like amount of time. If you were to say like Salesforce could have billed, or like an hourly billing agency were able to bill $6 million if they had.
Okay, so then as a company, if you summed up all of the time, said that your average worker gets paid, $53 an hour overall, and you multiply that by all your workers in your workforce, you could save, $53,000 per X. That gets your attention, certainly.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
So I was today at Samsung Developer Conference in Moscone West. This is the nerd capital going on right now. And I'm entering the lion's den. And these guys you talk about trying to crack conversation with them. So this is what I ended up, I started being techie. The last conversation was with this guy. And I said, how about I show you I can save your marriage if you're having problems? And he says, what? I said, yes. Because guess what? If you block your time and a preference, then no meeting after 5, your wife will be happy when you get home.
Okay.
Or your kid will be happy you take them to little league.
Okay, so
stop having meetings after 5.
Okay, so yeah, Meghna.
I was just going to add, there could be kind of like a snarky, funny like schedule or something like that. Others are still trying.
Use case where your competitor is busy scheduling and they're busy.
Get a virtual assistant.
Couples figuring out the day when they have to get pregnant, but they still have to figure out the time
Okay, so let's schedule some time to do what comes naturally, so to speak. Okay, good. I like the idea. I like the enthusiasm too. Thank you. Give them a round of applause. Okay. Oh, and I like it. We got a wizard hat, we got a calendar.
There's a shake.
We got that. You have a shake. Save your marriage. I like it. You have that. What's her? Give your secretary a break. Wow, it's a very angry secretary. Okay, good. I like it. Okay, so thank you all for participating in the lightning pitches. One thing I want to kind of talk about and say, and to those of you who submitted, I should say this. I'll put up another slide in a second. We're happy to brainstorm with you. I'm going to put up a slide in a second we do these brain hurricane sessions, which are free 30-minute brainstorming sessions. It's something that we did at PR Hacker when really no one knew about us 3 years ago, and we've grown and become the fastest growing PR company in the world since then. But we never want to stop doing that because we just want to help people, and that's kind of the joy of this, is it's like a puzzle to solve, a code to crack. So anyone who didn't get a chance, talk to Cody, you can raise your hand, talk to Meghna, and give them your information. They can look at our schedule. We'll do a 30-minute brainstorm session, whether you have a budget, if you don't have a budget, whatever, we'll just puts everything we've done with these lightning pitches in context. So that is the math of great story ideas. PR, mathematics, things that don't really go together typically. But this example shows what we were doing in these lightning pitch sessions, the great power in that, and how you convert what is just an idea into something that actually has traction, amplification, ultimately virality. So let's pretend that we have a startup company, something that deals with, let's pick something universal. Let's say it's a weight loss app. Okay? Let's say it's a weight loss app, something kind of widely applicable to people that we want to find a way to do the story creation process to make that have disproportionate virality and get the traction it needs to raise money, become a success, get bought by Apple, let's say. Okay? So let's look at the math of story ideas. So there are 700 media contacts in the Bay Area that cover tech. So we're thinking, hey, we're an app Of course, let's get, I want to see usually founders come to us and be like, I want to be in TechCrunch. Like, let's get in TechCrunch. We're like, okay, we can help you with that. I want to be in this other, I want to be in SiliconANGLE. I want to be in Mashable. So sure, 700 media contacts we can tap. Now, if we assume a 1% conversion rate, I'm picking a super low conversion rate to be conservative. So let's assume 1% is like direct mail, right? You send someone a letter in the mail, 1% are going to be interested. So we're being very conservative. That means 700 media contacts, 1% conversion rate, we get 7 media hits. So maybe we do the story for Bay Area Tech on the, Health Apps 2.0. Oh, the next generation of contextual computing where the app anticipates when you're going to snack or when you're going to binge, and it reminds you not to do it before you do it. I'm just making this up, okay? So we have an interesting story for Bay Area Tech. 1% conversion means we get 7 media hits. Now, let's do this process we just did with the lightning pitches. Let's be creative. Let's do a health story. So I know nationally there's 5,000 media contacts that cover health. So maybe let's take this app and let's do a story instead about 5 ways to lose weight without sacrificing your health along the way. That it's not just good enough anymore to fit in that dress or those pants. It's about becoming even more healthier while you're doing it, right? So we pitched that. 5,000 media contacts. We see a low conversion rate. 1% conversion, we get 50 media hits. Let's keep going. Let's think about money. What about, let's do personal finance, and let's look for this weight loss app about how to lose weight without breaking the bank along the way. Lots of people spend on like Weight Watchers or Jenny Craig. They buy these most expensive Equinox gym membership or something else. They're doing all these other things. They're buying specialty food things at Whole Foods and all this stuff. It's expensive. So how can we lose weight without breaking the bank? 7,000 media contacts that cover money and personal finance, 1% conversion rate. That's 70 media hits. And finally, relationships. 9,000 media contacts cover that. So how to suggest to your significant other to lose 10 pounds without getting them totally pissed at you, right? How do you do that tactfully? What's the way? What are the biggest mistakes you can make, right? That's a relationship story. So we pitch that story. That's kind of interesting. Maybe we do a survey. 9,000 media contacts, a 1% conversion rate, that's 90 media hits. We can keep going with this. But the point is that if we take the approach, which is the usual approach, we have a product. I want to get it covered in the Bay Area because I want to have some be able to share that article with all my friends here in San Francisco. And they're like, wow, that's awesome. You're doing great. At 1% conversion, we can expect 7 media hits. But instead, if we think about the context, if we think about how do we make it local yet at scale, if we think about how do we make something timely, if we think about how do we seed something with influencers, if we think about how do we have a rollout schedule like Gangnam Style to build buzz, if we think about how do we optimize a headline to get 10x more conversion, if we do all those things and build the strategic context across multiple verticals, then at the same 1% conversion rate, we can expect 217 media hits instead of 7. And you can imagine we could keep going with this. Right? Yeah. So the power of everything we're doing also comes down to simple mathematics, which is creativity has an ROI. The more strategic we are in our thinking, the more strategic we are in how we activate emotions and activate virality, what that does is that gives us more potential stories to pitch across more verticals, more potential stories to share that reach different types of target groups. And if we put that all together in one, suddenly we go from something that is a little campaign, a little success, to something that is a big campaign, a big success, that raises the $20 million, that has the 10 million users, that gets the traction it wants, that has whatever next step or whatever dream you has. And that's the power of mathematics of story ideas. So there's incredible power in being creative, and there's incredible power in thinking in new ways that gives your brand and new product new dimensions. That being said, I have these two guys. If they're on the screen, they're like, oh, I did not realize I was in the deck. So it's not just with them, but come see them. If you want us to help you brainstorm some of those story ideas, sign up for a 30-minute brain hurricane. We'd love to help you there. In case you're wondering about what we do and what we go over in that brain hurricane session, we do many different things across all marketing disciplines, but our 5 core things are mass media PR, influencer outreach, social content marketing, so we're happy to help you brainstorm in those areas, or if you want to come in and you have like, I want specific ideas in one of those areas, we can help talk about that. And then finally, a lot of jobs we're hiring for right now as well. So if you are a creative copywriter who likes solving puzzles like today, PR account executives, growth hackers, data scientists, events and speaking managers, social media managers. What's that? We need more graphic. Claire has been working very, very. If you are one of those people, we'd love to talk to you. Come see us as well. And I'll end on one final thought, just for connecting with us. PR hacking. A couple things we're doing right away. So PR hacking, we haven't started yet, but one of our ideas is to actually do a thing where if you tweeted us a headline for your story, we tweet back an optimized version or our suggestion for that, just as a fun thing to do on Twitter. So follow us on there if you're interested in like, how do we make this headline better? On YouTube, there's a lot of tutorials. We have like the 10 laws of PR hacking, 7 ways to make your event more viral. There's lots of stuff, so subscribe there. We've started doing a lot more video content. And then Facebook as well, putting a lot more kind of tutorials. We're using, here's a little tip for making things go more viral on Facebook. Facebook right now, and in its history, prioritizes new features it launches in the algorithm. So right now, it's an unfair advantage in the news stream if you're using Facebook Live to do live video, or you're doing Facebook Instant articles. So we're going to be doing a lot of that. You'll see if you want to kind of know how to do it. Follow us on Facebook as well. That's an advantage for getting organic reach on Facebook. And then finally, if you want to contact me, I'm at ben@prhacker.com and Twitter at Benjamin Kaplan. And let me end on kind of like the final thing, and then we'll hang out for a while and answer any individual questions. So much of this, when you start, I mean, I know it sounds overwhelming. I know it sounds like, wow, there's, I got to do all these things. Everyone wants to go viral. Is this really realistic? Can I really do it? And what I've hundreds of campaigns, what I've learned from doing this really from my own book is that it comes down to the small action steps you do every day. You don't have to have this all figured out, but the process of understanding this comes from learning and doing. So start with one thing. Start with just one thing you learned today. Start to build a little strategic context. Start to think about what holidays are coming up that you might be able to leverage. You don't have to do all things at once. But then as you do those things, if you observe, if you measure, then all of a sudden the insights, they reveal themselves to you. So it's not like tomorrow everything has to go viral. It's that do one thing, 2 things, 3 things, and pretty soon you add them all up and you've made incredible great progress. And ultimately, anyone who gets good at viral marketing takes that process. So the last thing I'll ask you to do, I think I'm kind of inspired by you on this, is could everyone stand up? Everyone stand up. Okay. Everyone stand up. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put your, I'll mirror this for you. Put your left fist up like this. Okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to put your right fist up like this. You got 2 fists up. Okay? Now what you're going to do is you're going to start making a lasso. So make the lasso. You have the lasso going around. Okay? Now what I want you to do is I want you to ride the pony. Okay? So ride the pony. I just want to see if you all do this. Ride the pony. Okay, that. Now go like this. Go. Put your hands up. Go. Aww. And then go, yeah! Yeah! What you are doing now is the going viral dance. This is the dance you do when your product and when your brand starts spreading, starts trending, starts going viral, and you want to express your joy. So we're going to do it once now, all together. We're going to feel what it's like to go viral, and then we will go from there. So here's how you do it. The dance goes, step 1, fist up. Step 2, fist up. You got the lasso? Ride the pony. Ride the pony. If you want to spank the pony, go ahead. Just spank the pony. And go like this. Go, oh! Yeah! Thank you all for coming. I wish you got kind of success.
I love you on this thing.
Okay.
This thing.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yes, thank you.
This is awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Ben, thank you so much. That was amazing.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
You're a great speaker.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
That was awesome.
Oh.
I'm Eric.
Oh, hey. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
I'm a machine learning.
Okay, sure.